Hello everybody. Well, it's week 3 of the summer holidays here in Scotland, and so that means it's time for another of the Little Art School holiday clubs. Usually we'd be running these in our studios and you can come and sit in our studios and do them, but just because of everything that's going on right now, we can't run them in our studios, so instead we're offering these free classes online to you all. But we are working really hard to get our studios open. So after doing the daily draw and the weekly draw, you fancy coming in and trying out a class in one of our studios, make sure you get in touch because we would love to see you, and we're very busy getting them all ready. So today, well, it's pretty special today. Today is going to be Olaf and Sven. It's quite a big drawing. It's quite a complicated drawing and painting. So really take your time over it. Don't worry about making mistakes. Learning to draw and paint is all about making mistakes and correcting them and then learning from them. That's how we learn. That's how we become really, really confident artists. So, Sven and Olaf, let's get drawing. Oh, we are so excited about this. So we've got Sven and Olaf, and when you look at it like that, we've got all these different shapes, and we're going to take it right back to basics. And we're going to start with the simple shapes and we're going to build it out. This is quite a big project. Allow yourself plenty of time, really relax whilst you're doing it. Make sure you've got a rubber. Don't worry about going wrong. Let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about where halfway in my page is. So if I go, I'm going to keep that there actually because I can. We've never done a portrait one before, so this is going to really help us here. Halfway through my page is about there, so I'm going to put a small mark. And halfway between there and there is about there. So I'm going to put a second mark there. And the second mark here, this is where I'm going to begin. And I'm going to begin here with a nice big curve, which is going to come around. I'm going to take it to about there at that side. I'm going to take it to about there on that side. So it's quite symmetrical. And I'm just holding my pencil very loosely and lightly. I'm going to pop that curve in. I think I might have gone too far. So possibly take it to about there coming in. Now I'm going to go up to about halfway between these two dots. A little bit further high, put myself a mark there, and then I'm going to come up and curve and down. Now, if you've not been doing these with us before, what we do is I'll take you through the steps and we're going to pause, and then you've got time to just take your time and get them in. So that's our first shape there. Let's come in now. I'm going to put a mark there and at the same place here a mark there, and coming down I'm going to take it in a nice big, it's like a half oval shape down to there. So that's those shapes in. And then I'm going to go like that and come around like that. Oops, sorry, Elizabeth. And I'm going to come down there. So that's our start with Sven. So let's get his eyes in too. So coming up here, that's about exactly halfway. And here we've got these little lines. You'll see this when you pause. And that one's going to come up and round in that shape. And that one is going to come up and down there. This will really help us when we put the eyes in. So then we put the eyes in. So sort of circle, round, and another one there. And we just put a little dot, one there and one there, because he's going to look up at what we're doing above him. What's happening above him? Everyone's favourite Frozen character. So come in here, especially Elizabeth. She's a massive Frozen fan. We're going to put our 2 marks here. And we're going to take up, this is going to become his antlers, and we're going to take it right up to here, but slightly wider than where we've gone there. So a mark there and a mark there. Let's make this really symmetrical. And here I'm going to take it in a nice, big, wide curve down to there. Now, I'm going to turn the page so that I can do it on the other side. Is that driving you mental, Elizabeth? Sorry. And we'll come there. So that is where our Olaf is going to sit now. So he's there sitting in these bits in the middle. So let's start putting our Olaf shapes in. The first shape is going to start here like that for his body. I'm going to curve round, come across in a line there, and then curve down. And here I'm going to bring it so I've got a curve, and another curve, and then another line. Olaf's head is so much more difficult than you'd expect. So take your time over this. I'm going to come in a bit here, and then I'm going to give myself a mark up here. And what I want is this curve coming round. Here on this side, we're going to come in again, come into there. But it's not symmetrical to there. We're going to come out at more of an angle, at a line. Then we'll curve and curve it up there. Coming in here, it's not in the middle. We're going to put a curve round and down like that. That will give us a start for Olaf. On here, on the top here, we've got the eyes, one, and then a shape around, and two, and a shape around. It's starting to come, isn't he? At this stage, let's also just finish here by giving him a couple of arms. It's coming out, 1, 2, 3, and there we've got his line coming up, oops, and a little V, and there. So if you pause now, remember, start with that circle there, that curved line there. Think about where you're going to put it a quarter of the way up the page, and then get in those shapes. Take your time. This is the important bit. So we've got these shapes in. You've got these shapes in now, and we've taken our time. So this bit now, what I want you to do, I'm going to start at the top, come down a little bit, and we're going to edge that off there, and we're going to bring it round. I'm keeping my hands so loose while I do this. I'm going slightly thicker as I get nearer the bottom, and then I'm going to take it in and I'm going to finish it there. Same on this side. So I'm going to take it in and finish it there. I'm actually, rather than keeping it just as a curve there, I'm going to curve it and then go like that. So it's got like almost a little bend in. Same thing, coming down from the top, nice and thin at the top, starting to get a bit thicker as we come down. Bringing to there. That's all I'm going to do with that bit there. I'm going to take my rubber here, just rub out these top bits because I want that bit of paper clear. Right, let's come to Olaf now. I love this bit here of his head. We're going to go up, round, and across. I always know if this is going to be a good picture. If when we finish filming, Elizabeth says to me, I'm going to go and do that. Elizabeth, are you going to go afterwards and do this?
Definitely.
She is definitely doing this. I've got a feeling her friend Eleanor might be as well. Right, so there we've got that two. Let's put in his eyebrows now, and they're that sort of shape. 1, and then there's 2. I love Olaf's eyebrows because they're so expressive. Right, and then his nose, which should be a simple carrot, is not. And I'm going to start that by coming down in a curve like that. Then I'm putting that shape in. Just a little line there. Then I'm taking it up. And then that line kind of goes across like that. So that's his nose in. And then his magnificent Olaf smile. He is the permanent optimist. Nice big wavy line there. Take that down right. I might have gone too far. Not even Olaf's quite as smiley as that, is he? Take it down to about there. I'm going to come in here like that and round. So there's his smile. And I'm actually going to bring his head in a little bit there as well. And bring it in a little bit there too. So we've got that shape coming up. His arms here, all we're going to do, we're going to bring it round, curve it off. And then, because they're sticks. So when you pause it and you see the little guide sheet, you can see that all we're doing here now is making those into sticks. So we've got one there like that. So it's not a straight line, it's a kind of wobbly line really. And each of these is going to become a little finger. like that. And ending that one just there at the shoulder. Now we've got these 2 bits of coal here. 1, that's pretty simple, and 2. And then coming down here, we've got these, I think these are his little feet. So what we want is a circle there, and then a little joining line, and a circle shape there, and a joining line there. Right, let's have a little work on Sven for a bit here. These here are just going to become his eyebrows, and I'm just going to take that up like that. I'm going to take that down there. And then we're going to take this out here just a little bit. And here, because these are going to become his ears, we're going to go 1, 2. He's still looking up at Olaf, isn't he? Coming down here, though, this is the bit here that I want you to think about. So we've got this bit coming down here now. When you see that on the guide sheet, any bits that we're changing, they're going to be dotted lines. So we're going to come in and rub those out. So coming down on this side here, what I want you to do is sort of take that up and to there. And the same here, we're going to take it up in that sort of shape and down there. And we'll take a little bit in there, curving in. Now coming down here, all we're going to do here is we're going to take it down like that and put a little line in the middle there. And from that, I'm going to take my rubber, I'm going to rub that out there, and I'm going to rub any of those bits out there so that we've got that bit coming down there like that. So if you pause, start up here with the antlers and get on with those bits. So when you come to the next pause bit, you're going to see all these little bits down here, which are going to be here. We don't need to put those in it with pencil now because we're going to do them with watercolour pencil at the painting stage. So don't worry about all those. What we are going to work on is these antlers. So starting at the top of the antler here, what we're going to do is come down, we're going to put a bit off there. Another one here, sticking further out like that. And a little bit there. A little bit coming out here, and then the last one here. Coming down at the bottom for the antlers, what we're going to do is we're going to take it and right in Olaf's foot we come round, and then we take it up like that. So we've got that curved bit. Let's go on to the other antler now. Let's do exactly the same thing. We've got coming into Olaf's foot. We've got the antler there, then we've got this bit curving round. So when I stop, I'm just going to get my rubber there. I'm going to rub all those bits out there. And we've got another antler coming up here. Then as we come towards where Olaf's hand is, I'm going to take one out here, one little one there, and then I'm going to split it at the top. So we've got one coming out here. So that's the antlers done. Let's get down to Sven now because Olaf is finished really. He just needs one thing here, which is his tooth there. But Sven, what he needs is where we've got this quite sharp line here, we're going to loosen it all. Don't worry too much about it because we're really going to do this with the paints, but we're going to just loosen all these edges so that they're nice and look like his fur. And we'll put a few lines in here, furry lines there, and a few furry lines there. And what he's got here is we need to come up from this bit that we put in. That line is going to come up there like that. So it's almost as though there's a continuation and then a gap. And then here we're going to put that line we've got coming down there like that. And then we've got this shape there coming in. I hope that makes sense. And then that bit is going to curve. That we're going to leave exactly the same, but we are going to have this bit being nice and jaggedy curvy coming up, and this bit being nice and jaggedy curvy like that coming down. And he's got this big lump of snow sitting on his face here, so we're going to go like that and take it up. So That's his bit of snow. And coming down the edge then, what I want you to do is just make that all furry, coming to the end. Put a couple of extra little lines and some more fur there. A little bit of fur coming there with an extra line. And then make that all furry. And then that's it. We've got our drawing in and we are ready to draw. So for this next bit, we're going to do these patterns here, and I'm going to use a watercolour pencil. These watercolour pencils are the ones that we sell on our website. And you really, if you've not got the right paper, this might not work. It will work if you've got pretty thick paper, but if you're working on sort of photocopy style paper, just do it with felt tips. I think that'll be the best way, because you might ruin your lovely drawing. But here we're going to do this because we've done this on watercolour paper. We're going to come down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these lines, and each line is just coming down. I've got a curve like a snowdrop, and then coming down, and it's making this gorgeous pattern here like that. Now you don't have to stick to what I'm doing, because you can put in your own patterns exactly as you want them. But the idea really is that we're going to come down like that. I'm going to put a pattern up, coming up there to the side, and another one there. On there, coming up like that. So don't feel like you have to really follow it, but if you're feeling a bit lost, you can do. There, I've got another one coming in there, and another line coming down. I'm kind of going behind the antlers now to there, another couple coming in. I'm just going to take these little ones down at the top now around the antlers. I only sort of want them to come into there, coming up. These always make me think of like a Christmas decoration almost. Here, coming down. But each of your little wavy lines has got this, let's imagine it's like a snowdrop maybe. Not snowdrop, like a drop of snow rather than the flower, I mean. And you can see all of these are the different sizes coming down there like that. Now let's do the same thing down at this side. A few down, coming down. Let's take these down much lower. I'm definitely now not really looking at what's on the sheet. I'm just having a bit of fun with it, making up these lines coming down. Almost finished now. So I've got these lines coming down like that, and now, oh, this is the fun bit. I'm going to take my brush. I've got my biggest brush, and it's really wet. I've got so much water on there. And what I'm doing is I'm adding water all the way down here so that it changes. And I'm going to keep going into my water because I want loads of water on here, so that I'm turning this like that. Now at the edges with my wet brush, I just want it so I get this lovely edge coming off here. Now I'm going to stop at this point because on my brush I've got all this lovely pale blue, and I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put it on the inside of Olaf's mouth, so I didn't dip into any paint there. I'm going to put a little bit up here at the top of his head, some around. So this is just working on the paint pigment which has gone onto my brush from this bit here. Let's put a little bit underneath there as well. And then back into the water. I'll take it up here. I want to go right, take it right round now. So it goes round the antlers. It's such a lovely effect that you can get. So it keeps that pattern that we've drawn, but it puts this lovely wash, which is the effect of the watercolour paints, because there's paint pigment in that pencil we were using. And if you're interested in getting some of these pencils, you can get them from our website, thelittleartschool.co.uk. Just go to shop and daily draw, and you'll see all the stuff there, including this paper, because you really could do, if you're going to use this with this much water, then the key is to have the right paper as well. You can see I'm soaking my brush here. I never usually paint with the pencils like that, but I've absolutely got loads of paper, and then I'm going to let that dry. So I'm now going to come on to using the watercolour pencils to do some of the details. I'm going to start with the orange for Olaf's wonderful carrot nose. And what I'm going to do is put in, that's how I'm going to do it, like that. Putting the pigment coming down, and then a bit more there. So I put it into the water. What I'll do is it'll keep, you see, it'll keep those little lines I did down there, like that. And then I'm going to take my yellow ochre, and I am going to do each of these antlers coming down. Now I'm going to colour them in as I come down. Like that. Remember, we made them go slightly thicker at the bottom, didn't we? I'm going to go around there, like that, down to the bottom. And then I'm going to get my brush. Just use a thin brush for this. Touch of water. Blow any of the excess pigment off. I'm just going to really touch it very lightly to get rid of this pencil marks, so that it looks like just like paint. Right. And then, rather than filming it, I'm going to do the other one. So I've just done that one exactly the same as that, and then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put a line there on the ears and a little bit of yellow ochre coming down like that. Turning my brush to paint. Brush to paint. That's not what I meant at all. Adding a bit of water, I'm turning my marks to paint there. Right, now let's come back and finish off Olaf. I've got a brown pencil here, super sharp. Let's try not to break it. And I'm going to put in the stick marks, but I'm not going to turn this to paint. I want this to look really thin there. So I've got that coming around there. His sticky arms here. Oh, Elizabeth said that was pretty much inevitable. I'm not going to turn that either. I'm just going to really go for it with the pigment. Now I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to do his eyebrows. You can do this with a black watercolour pencil if you want, but I'm going to do them with the pen, just so that they really stick up. I'll put in his eyes. And go around the edges of them there, like that. And actually there's a little half mark there underneath. Like that. So that's his eyes in. And then just to finish Olaf off, you could go around with a grey pencil if you wanted. I don't think you really need to. If you wanted to, you could go around with a grey pencil like that. You do need to just rub out those two little lines there to get that shape in. And you could do the same around the mouth. And then to finish it off, let's put these coal bits in here. Like that. And I will turn those to paint. And that should be Olaf done. And then we will come down the page and tackle Sven. Okay, now let's come down to Sven. I've got my brown watercolour pencil, and watch carefully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this furry bit like that, and I'm going to put in a few marks to represent that fur coming down here, like that. So nice furry bits. Same here. Nice and furry. Around the ears at the top, a few lines coming in like that, and the same underneath. And that's where I'm taking my grey over the edge. There. Grey, it's brown, isn't it? Brown over the edge and down. lots of little furry lines. Now when I'm not colouring the whole thing in. I'm just going to have, I want these furry bits to really stand out. So I'm going to get my brush wet, go in, and you can see the brown it'll turn the brown to paint, but we're still going to keep those lovely marks for the fur there. Probably should have put a few more furry marks in there so it doesn't look too empty. And we'll come down under his ears there and under his ears there, take it out. Right, now I'm going to do this bit here. I'm going to very lightly from here use my red, very lightly, unbelievable, but I want to be going around this little block of snow there. So a little bit of red, super lightly. And because I don't want it to look too pink, I'm going to add a tiny bit of yellow ochre here as well, just to dull it down a little bit. It's almost like a skin colour that we're going, very, very pale white skin colour there for that. And also I'm going to come in with my grey, and I'm going to put some grey there, but really heavily pigmented grey there at that side. Oh, actually it should have been over there. We'll put it in there and we'll go like that. And coming down to the bottom, that bit is a solid bit of grey, and then that's just a little line, and then grey around like that. Right, let's take the brush. I'll turn that. There we go, that's exactly what I was looking for, that sort of colour there. And as we come in, we'll bring the grey into it as well, and we'll soften all that grey line there. So just using the colours very lightly when you want to get this sort of light, subtle effects. And we're going to go around the bit of snow. This was a holiday club which would have been done in our studio, and in the studio we would have used gouache here, but I'm not expecting you all to have gouache at home, so we'll just leave that bit there white. I'm going to come down to there, and then we're going to finish him off really. Actually, while I've got the red in my hands, can you see we've got this colour here? I'm going to do the same thing, just putting a little bit of red, which will be like a pink. Let's put a bit of brown over the top to get that kind of effect. And I'll turn that here with my brush. And we're going to finish it off now. The only colour I've got left to do is my grey. And I want this to be like the fur we did on the round with the, in the brown. We're going to come around here with the grey, go around the eyes, coming down, and then as we come out here it's going to be lighter. So all I'm going to do is put that shaggy bit in there, take these lines here out like that, keep that really shaggy there and there, and all these bits when we turn it, when we start putting the paintbrush on, I'm going to come back in and put a touch of brown in there as well, and a touch of brown in at that side, and then loads of these little grey lines coming down really lightly, coming down here like that, and we'll put them coming out there like that. Right, let's take the brush then, and we'll do the final bits. Here it's still got red on it, so I need to make sure that that's got no red on it, because we want this to be really grey. We'll turn these lines here right round the eyes, take the grey out, same here, take the grey out. Remember to leave that bit of snow on the top of his thing white. I'm going to put a little bit of blue there. I'm not going to turn that to paint, just put it so that it looks as if it's got a bit of blue in, reflecting the sky. And we're just going to take all this and turn that to grey and the brown at the edge. This is the final bit now here. And to finish him off, what we really need is his eyes. So I'm going to go in. And remember, he's looking up, isn't he? Let's go a bit harder at the top. Lighter at the bottom, and this one here. Slightly more ink at the top. And there, and then he's got these black eyebrows that you can put in pen or in pencil. Just here. And that is our Sven and Olaf. Hope you really enjoyed that. We absolutely loved it because Elizabeth and I are massive Frozen fans. So it was just quite hard not to sing whilst we did it. I think we deserve a medal for not singing whilst painting. But we are going to be back next week. And next week, just in case you've got anybody out in your family who's not a Frozen fan, who wasn't impressed with Sven and Olaf, next week, we've got Batman and Robin. It's an action-packed painting for us, and I think you're all going to really enjoy it. But this week, what I really want you to do is make sure you send us your finished pictures. Send them to us in the comments on Facebook, on Instagram, or Twitter. We love seeing them. It's really making us feel like this is us building an art community of young artists, not just actually across the UK, but across the world, because we've got people all over doing it. So if you're painting this in Australia or America or India, hello from Scotland. And make sure you tune back in next Wednesday when we'll be back for our weekly draw.